Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. My name is Scott Reisch, and this is Crime Talk, the most fact-driven, unbiased true crime channel. Well, we had a hearing today in the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell matter. Second, sure, I'll carry your bag. Third, a fake lawyer has some big problems, and our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Crime Talk, and my name is Scott Reisch. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, as well as hit that little bell so that you receive notifications of when we go live or put up new content. All right, another hearing in the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell matter today. We brought it to you live. We always try to do that because we love our subscribers. Now, the first part, it's a little boring, and hopefully Frank, the hardest working man in show business, can maybe chop that out of the live and get to the real meat of it. What was the meat of the hearing today? Nothing regarding protective orders, and the court only addressed the motion regarding pro hoc vice, and that is a request to have an attorney from another jurisdiction be admitted in the state of Idaho so that she can help. That attorney is an attorney by the name of Rachel Smith. Now, she used to be a prosecutor. Apparently, she's been involved in lots of complex fed prosecutions throughout her years, and she now has a consulting business. It sounds like she's been hired to be a special prosecutor in private practice, and she has a small civil practice, according to her own words today here in court. She was there alongside Mr. Wood. Now, why does Mr. Wood need another special prosecutor? Well, I went and looked at it. The Madison County District Attorney's Office has two prosecutors, Mr. Wood and one other attorney, and two support staff. This case is a full-time job, just going through the discovery. Little surprising that apparently there are no other qualified attorneys in the entire state of Idaho that are available to come work on this case, that they had to find somebody who has a private consulting gig in Missouri. The second thing is, and I'm sure it's a little humbling for Mr. Wood, is to basically say that I need to bring in help for this particular case because it's very too complex. Lots of issues regarding cell phone records, lots of issues going to be regarding kind of tying everything together to make the allegations stick, if the prosecution is able to do so. Now, in this particular case, Mr. Pryor objected, kind of. He didn't really get an opportunity to do so because the court had issues regarding the pro hoc vice matter. First, the court was concerned about saying, hey, you're a special prosecutor from Fremont County. Don't you have to get the approval of the Fremont County District Attorney and or the Board of County Commissioners to pay for this? Mr. Wood said, well, Judge, my office is paying for it. We're not asking for money, so I don't need their help in any way. Mr. Wood also noted that, Judge, if she's admitted pro hoc vice, then I can swear her in as a special deputy, and therefore she then has all the power and authority as a district attorney. The judge seemed to be satisfied by that, also with the fact that she has a private practice. Clearly, the court has read the rule and was dotting his I's and crossing his T's. Why is the judge being so thorough? It's a high-profile case. No judge wants the case to come back on an error or mistake that they made. And could you imagine if this case went through, Pryor or Means object to a special prosecutor, then it turns out they were not duly appointed correctly? Oops, can't have somebody in there practicing law who shouldn't be. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what Miss Rachel Smith is going to do for this case. She's basically admitted, and they set another motions hearing date on April 7th. So we'll see what motions that the defense can come up with here shortly. Obviously, we still have the whole issue regarding the protective order that somehow is so secretive, not even the prosecutor's going to get to know what it is just yet. Court didn't take that up. I wish they would just settle for a date and resolve all these motions here early. We have a trial date in July. I somehow have a feeling things are not going to go as planned at the pace that we're going because it takes forever to get something resolved. The court should set a deadline for all of the motions to be filed, speak by that date, or forever hold your peace unless it's a constitutional motion, have a hearing date, and let's get to trial. This piecemeal nitpick, set a motions hearing date 2 weeks after you set a hearing to set another date is getting a little slow. Boring is another word that comes to mind. So we'll see how things develop, and we'll be there. Next on the docket, sure, I'll carry your bag. Let's take a look at this situation. A gentleman by the name of Jesus Camargo has been arrested on drug-related charges after he was found with 21 pounds of methamphetamines and 1.2 pounds of oxycodone in his Cubs equipment bag. Apparently, Camargo was driving through Colorado in advance of spring training for some unknown reasons and was pulled over with two passengers after speeding and drifting in the lane. I mean, can you imagine speeding on the highways? Oh my gosh. And second, drifting in the lanes. Anyway, that's enough to get you pulled over, ladies and gentlemen. The police officer's affidavit indicated that Camargo gave permission to search the car after the stop. A canine was then contacted, alerted the officers to the presence of drugs. The passengers, who have been unidentified, were released after a determination that they had no knowledge of the drugs. According to reports, Camargo told police, quote, "A friend who lives in the capital city of Sinaloa, Mexico, called him in Arizona on Tuesday and asked him to deliver a bag to Denver, where he would be paid roughly $500 upon delivery." Camargo said that he thought the bag had contained shoes or clothing, but had previously said he knew there were drugs in the bag, just not what kind, according to the police. Now, that's a lot of drugs, ladies and gentlemen. More than likely, this case will go federal unless there's an issue with the stop. Certainly, the police officer pulled Mr. Camargo over here, and Mr. Camargo should have simply said, "What did you pull me over for?" "Oh, speeding? Fine. May I have my ticket? May I be free to go?" When the officer began questioning Mr. Camargo about whether he could search the car, Mr. Camargo should have said, "No. The only reason the police officer was asking to search the car was because he didn't have probable cause to do it himself." Now, Mr. Camargo is probably looking, if assuming this case goes federal, at least 10 years to life in prison for a $500 fee. Now, you notice that the two unidentified individuals who were in the car were released because they had no knowledge of it. If Mr. Camargo had kept his mouth shut, if Mr. Camargo had said, "No, you cannot search the car," he would have driven on freely as well. But he had to talk. And then he admitted that he knew the drugs were there. For example, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this before. They have to prove your mental state, that one knowingly possesses drugs. The person doesn't know the drugs are in the car, i.e. these two unidentified passengers. They walk away freely. Mr. Camargo, you were a possible contestant for the Dumb Criminal Contestant of the Day, but you just made the regular news for Crime Talk instead. Lesson to be learned, ladies and gentlemen. When you get pulled over, you simply ask, "What did you pull me over for?" "Fine. Can I have my ticket so that I can go now?" And never, ever, ever consent to having the police officers search your car. The police officers are only asking for consent because they do not believe that they have probable cause to do it themselves. Bottom line, there may be a motion to suppress in this particular case, depending on how long it took for the police officers to bring the canine dog, as well as what was the inquiry from the police officers and whether he believed that Mr. Camargo was under arrest or was not free to go. But when you're looking at 10 years to life in prison, guess what? You better file that motion to suppress. And I bet that buddy from Sinaloa, because, everybody hangs out in Sinaloa, right? What goes on there? Somehow I bet his phone number has been disconnected. Just a guess. Please Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for a background subscription service. You'll be happy you did. If there's anyone out there you were ever curious about what was in their background, now is the time to do it. If you're going to get involved with somebody, now is the time to do it. When you go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, you put in the name, literally millions of public records are searched, and a report is generated. And it's going to give you a report. If they have multiple social media accounts, you're going to find it. If they have multiple phone numbers, multiple email addresses, it's going to be found. And more importantly, you're going to get information regarding criminal history. Hopefully the person you're searching has none whatsoever. But if it's there, it's going to be found. You're going to get everything you'd want to know, whether you're going into business or whether you're going into a personal relationship. You're going to be able to find out the information you want to know. So go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up today. You'll be happy you did. All right. Next on the docket, a fake lawyer is in some big trouble. Now, as a licensed attorney, I urge everyone to go to court with an attorney. It's just silly not to. Well, a Michigan judge on Friday ordered the arrest of a man who planned to provide legal representation to a defendant charged with flouting pandemic restrictions because the man wasn't licensed to practice law. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually a crime. When someone who is a non-attorney gives legal advice, that is the unauthorized practice of law. You can't do it. The alleged perpetrator here, Rick Martin, was also found in contempt for the unauthorized practice of law. Mr. Martin had previously filed documents with the court indicating that he would be appearing as, quote, assistance of counsel, despite having no formal legal education whatsoever. The phrase is an apparent reference to the Sixth Amendment. Martin's group says that's the real term lawyers should go by. Now, the Constitution refers to lawyers as assistants of counsel in the Sixth Amendment, according to Mr. Martin's website. Now, Mr. Martin was going to provide assistance to a restaurant owner who was arrested after repeatedly ignoring several cease and desist orders and refusing to comply with the state's dine-in ban. And Mr. Martin's website, known as the Constitutional Lawyers Group, believes that they are helping people defend the United States of America regardless of their ability to pay. The problem is they just don't have a law license. Mr. Martin refers to himself as a constitutional lawyer with over 30,000 hours of law study and courtroom experience. I'm sure that's been his own courtroom experience since he can't appear for other clients. Mr. Martin, I'm sure, will be arguing that he cannot be held in contempt because he's not holding himself as an attorney, but as assistance of counsel. I'm sure he'll be making records that this court has no jurisdiction over him because there is fringe on that American flag. And everybody knows that the fringe means that this is a court of admiralty, and therefore you cannot try them because they are United States citizens. Yes, these constitutional people have been around forever. They will never go away. And their arguments are routinely denied. But yet they persist, thinking maybe this will be the case where they get some relief. Somehow I think Mr. Martin will be spending some time in jail for contempt. Bottom line is, if you don't have a law license, you're prohibited by law from giving legal advice. That includes notaries, paralegals, frankly, people that have just watched a lot of court TV, even Crime Talk. You can't give that legal advice, otherwise it's the unauthorized practice of law. Next on the docket, not surprisingly, it's our dumb criminal contestant winner of the day. And I'm telling you, I don't think we've ever had such an overwhelming response of the winner. I think clearly he must have received 99% of the vote. And that's right. That was Mr. Eric DeTigue. That's right. The perverted pickle-packing perv popped on private premises, placing a pickle in his private parts. Kind of. That's right. Mr. Eric DeTigue was arrested for pleasuring himself while also having a pickle being placed in his anus. That's right. The police will talk about that one forever. I'm sure we will here at Crime Talk too. You just cannot make this stuff up. Congratulations, Mr. DeTigue. And I'm telling you, We are finding your address and we are sending you a mug, okay? Just don't put any pickles in it, okay? Because that'll kind of creep me out. But we're sending you a mug. And I'm going to show you. We're sending you a mug, Mr. Teague. We're finding you. All right. Our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Please meet Nicole Holland, a 26-year-old contestant who's been arrested on a misdemeanor charge in connection with the death of her dog, a miniature Doberman Pinscher named Champ. How did Champ possibly die? That's right. Miss Holland left out a plate of heroin on the floor and her dog licked it up. Needless to say, the dog didn't fare so well and Champ is no longer with us. But have no worries. At least we know that Miss Holland's mothering skills are better because, of course, she has 2 young children. And thank God she wasn't charged with those narcotics accounts since the heroin used was not witnessed. At least we know Miss Holland's parenting skills. That's right. Miss Holland is a mother of 2 small children. Of course she is, right? Every mother who couldn't juggle a couple of kids with a little heroin. That's right. Well, she wasn't charged with child abuse because basically nobody saw her using heroin. And apparently Champ licked it all up. Now, Miss Holland has twice been arrested in the last month for larceny and then possession of a controlled substance that was in a hypodermic needle. Now, hopefully Child Protective Services will come in and hopefully take these kids until Miss Holland can get her life in order. I wish her well. But today, she is our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Congratulations, Miss Holland. At least the kids are okay. We can't say as much for Champ. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow on Crime Talk.